as a coder for this firm, and I'm in same group like for a year. Normally, this indeed is something that you will learn something in here or something like that. Not today. I am not here to learn to teach you something. I am here to just show you some things that I came across when I was looking for semantics. And like the base of this indeed is because of Sarah, because I was trying to look at semantics, and I went for advice, and she ended up sending me one very interesting article that was how to be full stack developer. Long story short, that guy had some pretty good ideas, but the one that I came across and stayed in my mind was this one. For JavaScript, for everything else, he was like, okay, you need to learn this, and you need to learn this, and you need to find your JavaScript framework and everything like that. And when he came across the HTML, was like, okay, you don't need it. You need only this and spans, and everything else will come after you will start. I am a mod, and this thing is a very big flame for me. So I started investigating and started making some practices, some things around it, and I literally end up like an Alice in the Wonderland. There is a Czech translation Alenka v říši divů, but this one was a good one, and I wanted to know how deep this rabbit hole is. So let's play Emperor's New Clothes. Can anybody spot the difference in this? No?
No.
Okay, that's the purpose. Those two, like practically the same page, the difference is that these are the clothes. The problem is who is in them. And if you look at it, this thing will look the same when you are looking on it on mobile phone, on tablet, on desktop computer, TV, on anything like it. Problem is that you need to know who is your customer and who is your user. Because, for example, if you go around the normal views and normal displays, there are something like nodes that you came across when you are looking for people that are disabled in some way. And if you strip the clothes, you end up with this. This is exactly the same page. Problem is that the left one is with div and spans only. The second one is with semantics and with proper HTML text. This is, for example, your reader, if you have Kindle or something like that, and you will try to open the page, this is what he will see. Or this will be the same if you are not doing this proper styles, for example, for printing. This will be what you will get from the page if you print, for example, the plain text. I can say for myself that this the right one is better readable for me than the left one, but I will leave it for everybody to make his own opinion. Why should you not use the HTML markup in here? Like, it's obviously an advantage to read it for some platforms, but how much of your customers is using these platforms? How much do you need to make the styles for them? I was asking this, for example, on Reddit and Stack Overflow. Stack Overflow bumped me for this right away because that was too broad question. But on Reddit, I came across for some very good answers. But one of them was like a winner in here. Why do you not play with HTML5? Yeah, because I want to mislead the robots in here. That was literally for like the guy will not use it for not not allow robots to index this page properly. I think that was the biggest one and the best one for them. And seriously, you don't really need the HTML5 tags. Do anybody of you need them? No. Why?
You mean the HTML5 specific or
the HTML5 as it goes, like for example header, navigation, something like that, like those specific tags.
I'm using them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Like all the span div image.
Okay. About the text, like that's the biggest difference in here is if you are developing, for example, in the base of HTML, the page and the view, or if you are making the components, because I will not go into components in here because they literally change the semantics as itself. You can make by the components the semantics by yourself, and you are not working according to your rules of the HTML5. You can like simulate those, but you will practically use a very little number of them. But if you need to learn them, there is a cheat sheet for it. I found it sorry for the quality, but this was the best one because this one was like all of them. And if you really want to learn this, and you will need to be full stack developer, you need to learn this thing like a whole, and you need to memorize it. Yeah, I'm a bit lazy person, so I will skip it and I will go for the different spans. Quote. But this is like everything that you can use. Literally now, it is the HTML5 is in here from 2008, and those are used in web like broadly in like most of the way. I will not look at the Internet Explorer, and I will let him sit in the corner and have a dump ahead, because the most things that you will come across how to use the HTML5 is as a reference at least. This is like very basic prototype how to use HTML5 tags for your web. And you can spot, like for example, header is used on more than one things. If you are prototyping the web, header and footer are like for menus and for some information on the end of the page. But HTML5 is done in a way that you can use the header and footer even in the parts of the inner page. But that means that you need to style them properly. And again, if we go for the components, you don't even need to use them, because, for example, you will use page header, page article instead of those. HTML5, as I see it now, and the semantics around it, is not to like restrict you and make you use use it for every project, but it's good at least for you to understand it, how the web page should be specified for different views, how the different blocks should work. For example, if you have an article have sections, and after that, if you do it by the components or by the HTML5, that will have the same output, but you know how you thought about it and how the page itself is have its structure. Truth is it better? Is this thing better than the different span approach? Oh, sorry. This is very visible. But for example, on the left, there is a diff structure only, and on the right there is like a header. There is a header, navigation, and a list. List for better. Thank you. List for the menu. You can do the same in a div structure, but this thing is, for example, for me, worse readable than the structure in HTML5. Semantics, according to the Wikipedia, is like a set of rules that you will use for better readability and better structuring your code and everything like that. For me, at least, it's some kind of the legacy, because I know that, for example, on the project I'm in now, I will not be there in the end to the end of my days, and after me there will be somebody, and this will be my legacy. And the thing is that I need to know if the person that comes after me can read my code. Who of you think or develop the code with thinking who will come up after me? I think all of you should have your hands up, but okay. This is the base. This is the base structure. If you use classes, it's starting to be a bit better, but still, you know only where the navigation is and where the list starts. But in the left case, you don't know like what the structure properly represents. Let's go one more step. Let's go with the inline styles of the CSS. Like this is the edge case, for example, because normally you will use, for example, class. You will use some approach with styles, like in a different file, or you can go with the CSS in JS. But I will not speak today about these approaches. This is like edge case when all the styles are in a page, and this page on the left is starting to be barely readable for me, and that's partly anti-semantics and how to not use it. But yeah, that's the thing that you only need to learn now. You can improve it after, you can refactor it, but I will rather do it properly for the first time and not waste the time. Main problem that I really see in this is that the diff approach was largely needed for Internet Explorer 9 and 10 because, yeah, the HTML5 text was already there, but Microsoft said, yeah, we are not supporting them, and everything that you have in a specific things, and in specific text was fallback to the divs. So you ended up being like in here, for example, you have nav with plus navbar, because this is partly fallback for those two browsers. I call it the left side here. I call it unreadable. And one thing is that everything you do is on you when somebody after you comes and try to read this. And we are masters of our monsters. And the gross monsters that you came across are those that you create. The approach, for example, with the different span and non-semantic approach for me is readable if you spare some time in it. But the problem is that it will cost the time at itself, because you need to understand it. So I will leave it at you. And if you want to make your own monsters, I can let you read it. But to conclude, the example I give you, I made the same page as a different span and as HTML5. The difference was even in styles because, for example, the different span approach was slightly bigger. I came across this quote, and I think it is proper to say it in here, that we are in a future of the time where the HTML5 was developed. And if you have, like, for example, 500 more lines of a code, yeah, it can happen. But in a bigger scale, that thing is, if you not write it properly, you can have problems with, for example, like a load or something like that. Again, I will not go this way. Last thing that I want to say is that HTML5 can have, for example, in the semantics, can have different approaches. But I was trying to, in my interviews when I was looking for work, try to give the people information that I can do something in an HTML, I can write it properly, I can write the CSS. The answer that I get was this. Like today, most of the people think that everybody and every developer can write proper HTML, and it's no biggie that everybody knows HTML and knows CSS. I say that HTML and CSS is very easy to learn, but maybe very hard to master. If you, for example, need to do some things properly, do some things quickly, or do think about some things. So this was a bit understatement when I get this answer, but okay. Again, when you write non-semantic code, it's up to you. It's up to you if you write it like if only you can read it. But it's on your approach. And mark my words. One day your monsters will hunt you down, and you will need to repair it. Any questions about it? No? Okay, that's like all from me. So if there are no questions, thank you for your time, and see you.
Maybe a question from Slack.
Okay.
It's silent.
Maybe give me a minute. Something on my mind.
Sarah is something typing.
Uh-oh.
So if I give you a proposal, of course you are advising us to write proper semantics. I completely agree with that.
Okay.
The benefits, one of those is that the code will be more readable, which of course is really great. The code is more time written than written. That's cool. If we take the benefits for let's say the users, let's say I'm in a position that I need to do some refactoring to have better code, and I need to explain to my customer.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to refactor the code so it has better semantics, it uses proper text, and so on. What arguments I can use except for the better code, better readability, better maintenance? Are there any? What would you use?
Okay.
For the customer.
So what's the advice to sell better like semantic writing of the code for the customer?
Yeah.
The thing is that there are not only from the developers and backend developers normally. I don't want there is no offense meant, yeah. But backend developers normally do not bother with writing HTML.
Yeah.
So this might help, for example, some backend developer like to know where and what is where. The second thing is, if you are, for example, doing this for a newspaper or something like that, some people might read it on the reader, as I said, and this thing will be better translated for the reader. The third thing is that in the semantics and in the HTML5 tags, there are some hidden that can be very useful, for example, for Google search, because with them, the Google will better transpile your page and have better information from it. So, for example, by that, you can do the address in here, you can do telephone numbers, some pages.
Yeah.
If you have a menu, for example, in a proper form, you can have in your bracket and in your search result in Google, you have like base menu that people can navigate, for example, in Google, and that's like the base of that.
Thank you.
Thank you too. Nothing from Slack?
No.
Okay. Thank you for your time, and that's everything from me.